intend to expose you this period 1914-1918, analyzing only the facts, to you to conclude. After the fall of Napoleon I in 1814-1815, the boundaries are redrawn and redefined. Switzerland initially acquired neutrality. The Republic of Geneva asked to join the Swiss Confederation. Its insufficient area the forced to ask the Savoy to add to it its 32 communes. Municipalities decreased in these numbers because there has been regrouping them. With the Congress of Vienna signed June 9, 1815. Article 92. Je quote the text. The provinces of Chablais and Faucigny and all the territory north of Savoy, Agen, belonging to His Majesty the King of Sardinia, will be part of Swiss neutrality as recognized and guaranteed by the powers. As a result, whenever the neighboring powers of Switzerland will be in open hostility or imminent condition, the troops of H.M. the King of Sardinia that might be in these provinces will withdraw and may for this purpose go to the valleys if it becomes necessary. No other armed troops of any other powers may not pass through any park in these aforementioned provinces and territories except those that the Swiss Confederation thought proper to put it. Naturally, this situation does not interfere with the administration of these countries, where civil officers of H.M. the King of Sardinia may also use the municipal guard for the maintenance of good order. The Treaty of Paris, signed November 20, 1815. I will quote the text. The borders of the canton of Geneva to the Mediterranean, the line will be that in 1790 separated France from Savoy and the country of Nice. The reports that the Treaty of Paris of 1814 had established between France and the Principality of Monaco will cease in perpetuity, and the same relation exists between the Principality and His Majesty the King of Sardinia, Duke of Savoy. The neutrality of Switzerland will be extended to the territory that lies north of a line drawn from Agen, including the city south of Lake Annecy, for Fargère up Lescheren, and from there to Lac Bourget to the Rhône, in the same way that it was extended to the provinces of Chablais and Faucigny by Article 92 of the Final Act of the Congress of Vienna. In against part, the Swiss Confederation gives a part of Savoy perpetual neutrality. So all the people of Savoy will enjoy the perpetual neutrality. Countries signatories of the Vienna Congress and the Treaty of Paris are Austria, Spain, France, Great Britain, Portugal, Prussia, Russia, Sweden and Norway. In 1860, under Napoleon III, Savoy was annexed to France. I quote Article 2. It is also understood that His Majesty the King of Sardinia may transfer the neutralized parts of Savoy and the conditions to which it has himself, and it will be for His Majesty the Emperor of France to agree on this, as with the powers represented at the Congress of Vienna with the Swiss Confederation, and to give them the guarantee afforded by the provision contained in this article. But it must be emphasized, it is important with the same conditions in which the King Victor Emmanuel II possessed, that is to say, with the neutral zone. October 18, 1907. In The Hague, an agreement was signed concerning the rights and duties of neutral powers and persons in case of war on land. I quote Article 2. It is forbidden to belligerent to pass through the territory of a neutral power troops or convoy of either munitions of war or supplies. I quote from Article 4 of the Hague Convention, fighters' body can be formed, not open enrollment offices in the territory of a neutral power to assist the belligerents. It is only during the First World War there were enlistment offices in Annecy and in other cities in the neutral zone. I quote Article 20. The provisions of the Prison Convention do not apply between contracting powers and only if all the belligerents are parties to the convention. The Hague Convention, signed by 31 countries, included France, which is a signatory October 7, 1910. Now, 2 August 1914, the French Republic has requisitioned all men and young people to send them to war, leaving women, children and old people in the countryside, out and the mountains, while we were in full harvest. Drop-off window. On the other hand, it has recorded 3 days before all permittees in their night boroughs, knowing that if they left on leave in the neutral zone, they do not come back. So it is a breach of Article 4 of the Hague Convention. It is good to know the landscape of this war. 1914-1918 will be the most inhuman war and the deadliest in history. Germany with allies Austria, Hungary, Turkey, Bulgaria and Italy threatens France and its allies, Russia, Serbia, England and Belgium. Note that 2 August 1914, Italy declared its neutrality towards the conflict ahead. It should be added that Portugal, Romania and Greece are also allies of France. The war of 1914-1918 is called World War because there are 30 belligerent countries, 14 European countries, 11 countries of America, 5 countries from Asia. All countries involved in naval combat, land and air. 8 battalions of Savoy form the 28th Division. These battalions are engaged in the sector of the front where the bloodiest and most destructive fighting taking place: Verdun, le Chemin des Dames, the Somme, Vosges. The 13th RE became famous in 1915 in his maneuver in which to 1,200 prisoners. The 98th RE and the Blue Devils, called by the German, is famous in the fighting in the Vosges and Italy at Caporetto in 1917. There are the 11th BCA, 1,431 killed. In the 13th BCA, 1,368 killed. Millions of killed, missing, wounded. Millions of other victims as a result. The wounded, the maimed, prisoners, widows, and orphans the nation warns the cold you won. Besides the Spanish flu that will make a massacre. June 28, 1919, signed the Treaty of Versailles. And I mean, this is a peace treaty. Article 435. You're doing reading. The high contracting parties, recognizing the guarantees stipulated in favor of Switzerland by the treaties of 1815 and particularly the Act of November 20, 1815, guarantees constituting international obligation for the maintenance of peace, declare nevertheless that the provisions of those treaties and convention declaration and other supplementary acts concerning the neutralized zone of Savoy, as determined by paragraph 1 of Article 92 of the final Act of the Congress of Vienna and in paragraph 2, Article 3 of the Treaty of Paris of November 20, 1815 no longer correspond to current circumstances. Accordingly, the high contracting parties take note of the agreement between the French government and the Swiss government for the abrogation of the stipulation relating to the zone which are and remain abrogated. One neutralized zone of Haute-Savoie. It will be understood that as long as the federal chambers have not ratified the agreement between the two governments concerning the abrogation of the provisions relating to the Savoy neutral zone, there will be no definitive side or the other about it. The agreement between the French and Swiss governments for the repeal of the above provisions will be considered valid only in the peace treaty contains the article as it was written. In addition, the contracting parties of the peace treaty will seek the consent of the signatory powers of the treaties of 1815 and the declaration of 20 November 1815, which are no signatories of the current peace treaty. So while Switzerland, she is part of the treaty while it was not belligerent. Switzerland wanted recognition of its neutrality by all the warring countries of the peace treaty. Is the recognition of 30 countries instead of the 9 countries in 1815. France saw the opportunity to remove the neutrality of Savoy, proposing to Switzerland to support it to have the SDN, League of Nations, in Geneva. How can we delete of a neutrality during a peace treaty? The French Republic, the Treaty of Versailles, Article 435, tried to remove the neutral zone and the free zone of Savoy. It should be noted, by trying to remove this neutral zone, it thereby confirms that this neutrality existed before. All signatories of the treaties of 1815 were not present. If I refer again to Article 435 of the Treaty of Versailles, the agreement between the French and Swiss governments for the repeal of the above provisions will be considered valid only in the peace treaty contains the article as it was written. In addition, the contracting parties of the peace treaty will seek the consent of the signatory powers of the treaties of 1815 and the declaration of 20 November 1815, which are not signatories of the current peace treaty. Do you even lift? This is to emphasize the fact that a treaty to cancel or change the terms of this treaty, it requires that all countries present at the signing of this treaty are also all present at this or that change. The list of signatories countries are the countries of the treaty in 1815: Austria, Spain, France, Great Britain, Portugal, Prussia, Russia, Sweden, Norway. The countries present at the peace treaty in 1919: United States of America, the British Empire, France, Italy, Japan, Belgium, Bolivia, Brazil, China, Cuba, Ecuador, Greece, Guatemala, Haiti, the Haitians, Honduras, Liberia, Nicaragua, Panama, Peru, Poland, Portugal, Romania, the Serb-Croat-Slovene state, Siam, Czechoslovakia, Uruguay, and Germany. Missing countries to the Treaty of Versailles in 1919: Austria, Russia, Sweden, Norway, Spain. I pause. For the commemoration of November 11 in Savoy, it would be more accurate to write the war memorials, dead because of the French Republic, and not died for France. Parade of victory, it was said that every Alpine hunter was framed by two dead who walked with them. In conclusion, as a result of all of this, we can see that the neutrality of Savoy is still in force but not respected. In December 2010, a member of the Grand Council of Geneva has said publicly in Albertville that treaties are still in force of the official website of the Republic of Geneva. The French Republic, giving lessons, called on Russia to respect international treaties concerning the Crimea, while she does not respect international treaties it has signed.